guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do the final update, or part 4, to a very popular series I started about 5 weeks ago, titled, My Friend Needs Help. His wife manipulated him into an open marriage. And real quick recap of what the whole thing was about, because I know most of you guys have seen it, but I'm going to mention anyway. This is about the guy who reached out to me about 5 weeks ago about his buddy. His buddy is the most pea-whipped, blue pill type of guy he's probably ever seen. And he's married to this gal who's this raging effeminist. Colored hair, tattoos, demanding, bossy, the world revolves around her, that type of thing. And worse yet, she tricked this guy into doing open marriage. She's out hooking up left and right, and he's not doing anything but watching the kids. That type of situation. And he wanted to know, should he show him some of my work? Are there things I think he should help him out? Blah, blah, blah. I gave him my advice. I told him that good luck with that one, because either you'll be damned if you do, damned if you don't, because he probably won't take your advice very well, blah, blah, blah. Part 2, he was essentially with the wife, and this guy was out with him, and he introduced him some chick in some bar, hooked up with her. And next thing you know, this guy's now all fallen in love with this chick, and his wife showed up at his house screaming at him for how dare he introduce her husband in the open marriage to another woman. All this drama went down at his house where he threw her out, blah, 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 and he got caught all that on video. Okay, all proof of her showing up at the house, barging in practically, shoving him past, yelling, screaming, all that. And at the end of her yelling and screaming match, she then pretty much said, put the moves on him. And he rejected her, get out of here, all that. Part 3 was essentially her writing him back and forth with that guy. He pretty much decided he's not going to talk to that guy anymore because the guy threw him under the bus. He tried to help him. That's over and done with. And now and he let the guy know that he has footage of his wife coming to his house. And now her demanding that he gives the video footage to her, which of course he's not going to do. She sent him a request from a fake lawyer to get that information, and his lawyer says it's not happening. And also you found out that this guy was now falling in love with that chick that he hooked up with. Okay, she was a known carousel rider, and just like typical blue pill guys, he goes and falls in love with the girl he hooked up with. And I advise this guy, definitely on part 2 and part 3, stop talking to this dude, this friend of yours, because he's not your friend. He threw you under the bus multiple times. Okay, he just brings drama into your life along with his wife. And by the way, he mentioned in the previous story that his wife, obviously she's a nut, and has a history of throwing tantrums and destroying property of people she doesn't like, that type of thing. Whether that was true or not, who knows? So we are picking up, and I know I said a minute or two ago I wasn't going to say much. Well, obviously I can't help myself. So anyhow, you got the whole recap. So now we're going to pick up where things left off. So starts off, he says, hey SSM, I have what I think is the real final update, and it's a short one. Most of this, like the last update, is just some odds and ends related to Bart and his wife Mandy. But as always, I want to address some comments on the last video. The real final update, or the final update, we shall see. How many times have I heard that? Those of you who suggest I have my attorney contact the firm cited at the top of the email letterhead that I got, I didn't mention it, but of course she did look them up. And they weren't in any of the places she looked. Bar Association directory, local businesses, who's who, plain old internet, etc. Which was one of the reasons she concluded the email and the person who sent it were both bogus. There was no phone number in the letterhead for her to call. Of course it was BS. But this woman probably figured this guy will just be intimidated by hearing something from a lawyer would give her what she wants. Second, I appreciate the passion for the cause, but some of you need to sit back and take a deep breath. I mean, seriously. To those of you who suggested revenge plots and the like on Mandy, keep in mind she never actually did anything except come over and yell at me. I've been yelled at before, and from much more intimidating people than her. I'm not going to melt. I'll live. Yeah. There's no sense making things worse. Yeah, she came over and threw a tantrum and everything, and he got a good laugh out of it, and that's probably the end of it in terms of her, what she may do. Because I didn't quite buy all that stuff about her destroying property and setting things on fire and all that, but you never know. He says, on to the updates. I've had no more contact with Mandy. Good. That's what I told you to do. Don't talk to her at all. I did get a text from Bart asking politely to get a copy of the video that I had of her at my place. Apparently she finally did tell him about it. While I, of course, have no intention of sending her either of them a copy. Good. You don't need to. You keep it for yourself, and that way then they're always wondering all the things that are on there, and that may keep her from bothering you any further or other things. I hope. I did briefly entertain the idea of letting him watch it on my laptop, so he could at least see without giving him a copy. But in the end, I decided that did nothing to serve my own peace, which is all I really care about at this time. So I maintained radio silence and let him in the dark. F him, little traitor. Yes, again, you guys remember in the previous videos, part 2 and 3, this guy completely threw him under the bus. This guy's trying to help him out on multiple fronts, and took him out and he hooked up with that girl, because remember, they're in an open marriage, so he's allowed to hook up with other women, but basically the rules of the open marriage are she can go hook up with whoever she wants to, but if he does it, well then obviously that's a crime against humanity. That's how it is. And so this guy, this so-called friend of his, threw him under the bus, and I recommend him both times, stop talking to this guy, stop hanging out with this guy. This guy's trouble. He's a weak, he's a bitch. The only way you can maybe give this guy the time of day at this point is if he were to divorce his wacko wife here, and it'd be his choice to do so. And then down the road, when he's fixed himself, apologize for him being a little bitch and throwing you under the bus and all that, and then maybe one chance. But even then, I just don't see that happening. I talk about this all the time, guys. We need to have peace in our lives. Easy lives. Women are the ones that like drama, okay? That's why women have frenemies, because frenemies always bring drama into their lives. A masculine guy does not need drama. He wants peace and quiet. And if that means he only has a couple close friends as opposed to 20 different people he can hang out with, then so be it. And the only guys that like drama are the feminine guys. Guys that have been hanging out with women all the time and are conditioned to be like this, that. Those are the only guys I've ever met that like drama, either in their own lives or like to watch it on shows and stuff like that, are feminine guys. That's been my observation. Anyway, it says here, I was hanging out with my usual band of buddies at a local bar last week, and at one point the subject came up about how much Mandy hated me. They kept asking what I did to piss her off, as she wouldn't stop talking about me to anyone who would listen about what an a-hole I am. You must be in a small town community that everybody seems to know her and know that she's talking about you, because I don't see her hanging out with your friends. You know, maybe somebody that knows her, that knows your buddy, that knows the other buddy mentioned it. I don't know. They all said that it was like she was obsessed with me or something. This did not flatter me in the least. It'd be way better for me if she just let it go and forgot about me. It actually was really annoying that she just won't let it go. Anyway, I just laughed it off and they moved on. Remember, she showed up at his house, yelling and screaming and all that, and eventually she just dropped it and said, "Are you as turned on as I am?" All the screaming, all the drama, essentially hitting on him, hoping that he put the moves on her. And I thought that instantly she was just doing this on purpose to get you to try to put the moves on her, and she could say, "See, look what he did," to her husband. And this guy, of course, did not do that. But she didn't take rejection well, because remember, she ran away crying and all that, which we thought was bullshit. But regardless, she didn't like being told no. And women that are used to being told yes all the time do not like being told no and obsess over the guy that does say no. Later that same evening, I was talking to one of the guys, we'll call him Bro, and he told me, "Whatever you did to piss Mandy off, I gotta love it. Ever since we were kids, Mandy has been a spoiled brat. Turns out that he's Mandy's brother. Well, half-brother. I never knew it, or if I did, I never really cared enough to retain it. I did meet him a few years back through Bart, so I guess it makes sense. Anyway, according to him, when they were kids, she lived most of the time with her mom and came over to stay with her dad and his second wife, Bro's mom, 1 week in a month and some holidays. He and his other sister always dreaded when Mandy would come by, because she was always bossy, grabby, whiny, and entitled little B." There you go. It goes to show you people don't change. I mean, some people can change, but by and large, people's personalities and who they are, she was just like this when she was a kid. Bro seemed to know more details of what happened between her and I, or at least her version of things, and of course didn't believe her spin on it. He knew her too well. So I went ahead and told him my version of events. I even mentioned to him some of the things that Bart told me about her. Bro laughed through most of it and said he doubted if any of the revenge crimes she supposedly committed against people were true, or he would have heard about it at some point. So there you go. This is her stepbrother, and he knows his BS. He knows she's full of it. He knows she's a entitled a-hole. That's obvious. But those stories that her husband made up about her doing this or doing that to people that pissed her off, obviously major exaggerations or complete bullshit. He said he confirmed again that she couldn't stop talking about me, to the point that even Bart is annoyed by it. Bro suspected that I was the first man besides her father to ever tell her no, and that's why she couldn't get over it. The most powerful word a man can ever say to a woman is no. Especially to a beautiful woman. Now, I'm not saying she's beautiful, but she obviously can get guys one way or another. They all like hearing no, and they obsess over it. He says, oh, and according to Bro, yes, Bart is still seeing Daria, the carousel rider they hooked up with. She's the other person Mandy won't stop complaining about, to the point that Bro says Bart laid down a rule of his own, that they were not to discuss Daria anymore. Part of me wonders how that went. I'm guessing she ignores the rule and complains anyway. Holy crap, this pee-whipped guy actually supposedly laid down the law, laid down a rule, and told his wife, you're not going to talk about the other woman I'm hooking up with because, of course, we're in an open relationship. I'm shocked. This guy finally grew a pair. Maybe there's hope. Anyway, I don't think I need to worry about Mandy. She seems like a typical spoiled, tantrum-throwing, frustrated woman child, like so many, and with more bark than her bite. Thanks for reading my story online, SSM. Keep up the yeoman's work, and I'll keep watching. Well, bro, thanks for the update. I'm not all surprised, A, hear from you, and B, that there's more things going on. But, yeah, so just keep avoiding these two wackos. You're obviously in a small-town community. Everybody knows them, and so it can be kind of hard not to hear about them, but just don't bring this guy back into your life. And if she shows up on your property again, I would pretty much right then there, get the fuck off my property. I'm calling the cops. Do not send the video footage that you got of her coming there to your house, storming and screaming at you. Just keep that in your reserves, just in case you may need it one day. But you probably won't. And eventually, we'll just see where this goes. But anyhow, good update, great story. And again, back to the whole question about the whole point of this whole video was, can I help this guy out who's being taken advantage of, manipulated? Can I RP a friend? And again, as I said in the first video, and this is for you guys who watch this, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because you try to help out, like you did here, look what happens. One way or another, no good deed goes unpunished. And obviously this guy didn't want to hear it. So keep doing what you're doing, man. It's good to hear from you. And let's just see how things go. And if things get crazy again, well, you can email me. I'm sure the crew here would love another final update. Because, yes, I say that on purpose because I know you guys get a laugh out of that in the comment section. Yes, I could do part 3, 4, 5, and 6, but this is just funny. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. If you're hoping for a good update with Crazy Mandy and all that down the road, tell him. He'll send it. I guarantee he will. And also, guys, if you got a good story you'd like to share, something really good that would be good for the channel, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com, as well as any really good articles or stories you come across. Because while I primarily do subscriber submitted emails now, that's the bulk of what I do now, I also on occasion will do articles and stuff like that to mix things up, and there are good ones out there to keep things entertaining. So by all means, send those to me too, include the link to the article, and I'll give you a shout out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.